Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilk empath, and I just like doing these little talks on the way I feel about things, and so far I feel pretty good today. Been up for a little while. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. I just, my life today has just been kind of put in place where I can just allow, sleep when I'm tired, wake up when the dogs are hungry. Whatever time that is, It's all how I feel about stuff, I think. And I think society, humanity, the human race is slowed to a stroll. A lot of people have stopped, so things are shifting to go back into a forward motion. Things gonna move in a more natural way, less impeded way. Made some notes. Wanted to talk about some of the basics today. The basics, starting with, the definition of basics. I think it's funny. It's something I look at people and when they don't want to live past the humanity in them, they don't want to live in their spirit. I'm just like, what a basic way to live, basics. The basics of anything to me are just that. So in the adjective form, it's forming an essential foundation or starting point, fundamental. See, I understand that the basics are important. I just want more for the basics. In chemistry, it's having the properties of base or containing a base having a pH greater than 7. And so I'm going to piggyback off that a little bit hopefully without getting too distracted. And I looked up some pH balance because when I was growing up, everything was, on commercials. pH balance, use this shampoo, it's pH balance, and everything was balanced, And I just have always focused on balance. Taught myself how to ride a bike when I was 4, So I just always looked for the balance in things, and I just didn't like things when I could see the imbalance in them, I didn't even know what the imbalance was. Now it's like imbalance of it's balance of whatever, ego to id, super self and all that. Anyway, so when I was a little kid, I had so much energy, and I had a lot of fear, and I was afraid of a lot of things to the point that I'd hyperventilate, but I had seen a lot of things that were really, really scary, and I think a lot of times people expect me to be less okay than I am. They want me to be less okay than I am because they know that if they were under the circumstances which I've gone through, that they wouldn't be okay, I used to hyperventilate, so I had to learn to calm myself down. The reason why I have to learn to control my emotions because when I was younger, there were points in time that my emotions controlled me. And so my mom always saw the need to instill at a very young age the importance of emotional control. People say I'm immature. I am immature. I'm also mature. We're all everything. We are all aspects of every single character, defect and all. We're human beings. Humans are animals. We just have thumbs and a vocabulary. So we're the freaking jackasses we're the only ones responsible for the carnage on this planet. And I mean carnage not just in a literal sense, but in an emotional sense too. So then I looked up, I was looking up my pH balance going down that daisy chain, and I was like, wow, that makes sense, because it says here, that's why you gotta have so much pH balance, or balance, because that's why you hold your breath, because when you exhale, it releases the acids in you, and I always reminded myself to breathe. I'll just be doing something like I'm thinking about, and I'll remember, breathe, breathe, Marge, breathe, And that's acid that's released, you know. And we can control the balance in our systems by what we eat. But people just would rather eat a lot of, they, you know, instead of eating a little what makes them feel good and make them feel better, and then go for a walk, feel more better. They just eat a lot of what makes them feel good, then they feel worse. It's weird. So, but yeah, so that's why when you hold your breath, you turn red, pass out, because the acid isn't expelling from your body. And that's why when you know, your body knows these things of what to do, and so they're like, there's switches and pressure valves, you know, and checks and balances, and our spirits have them too. People just ignore them. So they, what I found is, oh, I used to hyperventilate. Like, my mom would take me to the emergency room, and then it was like after the second, third time, you know. Just breathe, or after the second time, it's just breathe into the bag, because it's just hours, and it just wasn't worth the effort, you know. And so, and then beguns my journey of self mastery and learning to handle my emotions. And now I hope to teach people how that, you know, that they can maybe not handle them, but at least become familiar with them and not let them control you and run you. And then the last definition is informal. The essential facts or principles of a subject or skill. Now, I get we are all born with the basics. It's time to aspire for more. It's time to want more than just the basics, you know. Basics have put us in a trajectory, because some people's basics are bigger than others, and your desire to have those are your desires, but that's also an imbalance in you. When people want something so much, that's imbalance. You know, when somebody is too much of anything, it's imbalance. You know, when people are trying to show you all of the goodness that they are by wearing the most expensive clothes and the best jewelry, and, you know, there's parts of themselves that they're putting a great deal of effort in for you not to see. I wonder what they are. You know, it doesn't take too long to find out what people are, you know. And the truth always comes out. And that's something that people just really don't want to know about this Scorpio season. The truth always coming out. It always does. It doesn't matter if it's a day, an hour. That's why I'm always big on truth. And when I say I did something, this is my indescription as I see it. You know, how can I make it right? And that's what's not and that's the good part is people are finding that the accountability people part is missing. I watched a little bit of this Leo Cub does a freaking talk in his big old truck, you know, and he's talking about his problems with getting rear-ended with his truck and the insurance company. I'm like, man, those are real 3D problems, you know. I thought you were ascended past that in your high vibe TV and stuff like that, and freaking material matters, they just don't care, you know. I learned not to love freaking cars when I got freaking rear-ended by a uninsured motorist, you know. I love that car. It's my poor man's Jag. It was a 2002 Hyundai Sonata, and they look like They had the same body style as the Jaguar to me, and I freaking dug that car. And it was taken away, and that's when I was like, well, why are you loving a car, you know? Now I like my big red truck a lot, and I'll, you know, if anything happens to her, it's just like, there ain't that freaking emotional attachment to it. That's why it's weird to me that people spend so much on freaking cars that hang out outside, you know. And then you watch dudes that put so much attention into waxing and polishing. They don't talk to their girlfriends, but these inanimate objects are just trophies, and trophies don't freaking go with you with your last breath, y'all. What else? What other notes did I write? Time to level up. Yeah, it's time to level up. It's time to shed. all that low vibrational behavior, all the time to shed the shady, time to shed the shady, and people are like, no, I don't want to shed the shady. Well, keep your shady. You know, you'll be the duality in this world. You'll be just practice for me, practice for me to spot out the imbalance, I see this thing and it's just so obvious to me, and I just don't know why it isn't so obvious to other people. I don't know why. They just can't look at someone that's like, I don't know. What are you going to do? I just try to teach people what I know. For fun and for free. Because I don't need anybody to pay for my ego. Nope. Self-control. I learned self-control. I learned to control my emotions. Oh yeah, I already talked about that. So, I guess that's it. I'll probably do a little one later on. But for now, hope you have a rad day. Peace.